Well, he did get the goal. They had to wait 36 minutes, which is still incredible to say, the way that first 36 minutes went.
It was really, and it came in a move that was the opposite of where all the chances came from. It was when Everton was very well organised, and we've seen all these chances missed from one-on-one situations. But when we look at it here, you just see that there's no danger. Everton are well organised. It's nice, solid block. Marcus Rashford's trying to get through. He can't. And then, you've got a little few, balls going through. And from ends with Sancho, who passes in to Scott McTominay, who makes a really good run. But it was we expected a goal to come, but not from this situation. Everything is under control. Nothing is happening here. There's no danger. And then if you...
I think that's poor. When you've got that amount of bodies around the ball, around the edge of the box, I think Sean Dyche should be getting in there and saying, have we not put a tackle in? Have we not come out? If you're in goal, surely you would be shouting at your defenders to do better there. Granted, it's a great finish from Manchester United. When you've got that many people around the ball, you'd be shouting, saying, get a tackle in, surely.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But when I say there's no danger, is they had it under control. So what it took was a really good pass from Sancho and a really good run from Scott McTominay. And then, of course, you can argue with the goalkeeper, should he have saved that? I probably would have been a little bit disappointed with conceding that. But it came from a move that we didn't expect that. We expected from one of them long balls. And again, you think about the number of chances that Manchester United they created in this game, the most ever apparently. And then the second goal is from a mistake by Coleman. We didn't expect it to happen like that. And 2-0 looks quite good, quite solid, at this point in the season. But you see, it's a nothing ball, and then it's a big mistake, by the way. But it's a good reaction by Rashford, and then when it gets to Martial, then he scores for the 12th time in his career against Everton in 16 games. But it's a bad mistake there, lack of concentration. And I think that Sean Dyche would be very, very disappointed with that. But he's got so many other worries.
I think that touch there, though, for Martial to take it away there, to take it away from Tarkowski, because if he takes a touch forward, I think he can slide in. So Martial hasn't played a lot of football, puts it across his body, and then he's got an easy tap in. But I completely agree. Rashford, unselfish in that moment, just passing it across, who's in the better position. And it's great because we've got a centre-forward scoring for Manchester United now other than Marcus Rashford, but it's timely, given he might be injured now with that potential groin.
Well, let's have a look at that. I mean, that is the negative of the day, potentially, for United, Karen.
Yeah, and look, he knew straight away. It's a great sprint in behind. You see he's trying to bring it down and touch. And he knew straight away, and I think he signalled and said, look, that's it. When you know that as a player, and he's a fast-twitch player, so he's so powerful, so quick. So those little tweaks he notices and feels it, and that is the only negative from today. Clean sheet, 2-0, going into Europe on Thursday, but that's not something that you want to see as a Manchester United fan.
It's a big negative. So I think it's about a month back, there was another scare with him. He was sprinting out and he kind of carried on. You're thinking, why is he carrying on? We've got all these games coming on. And then he was all right. We can hope that this is just, it's fatigue, short-term fatigue. But I have to say, it didn't look like it. And he's a big miss. Really, really big. Okay, the positive is that you got Martial back, you got Eriksen back for the game on Thursday. You got Casemiro available, so you got players that can go in and dominate. But he's hard. He wasn't playing particularly well today. He missed too many chances. But this is a guy who's been scoring goals freely all the way throughout this season, and not having him available in the semi-final of the European Cup, that's a big blow. But we don't know. Let's wait. My fingers are crossed, I'm thinking positive.
You're the eternal optimist, Victor, we like that. 28 goals, of course, in all competitions for Marcus Rashford. He didn't need to score today. United did so without him. After we've got more reaction from Old Trafford, Manchester United beating Everton by 2-0. Here is the United boss, Erik ten Hag.
Eric, lots of good things we saw out there today, and a brilliant first half, but I suppose you're just happy to finish the job.
Yeah, we have to be more clinical, clear, more ruthless, box off the opponent. I think this game has to be already finished by half-time. We didn't, but as you say, it was a brilliant performance, and that's very good if you played 3 games in 6 days, and then you can deliver this. So there's a big compliment to the team.
That first half was the most shots that has been seen in the Premier League in any half, which is quite special, 21.
I think we played very good. I think in and out of possession. So big compliment to the team performance. And when many players on the pitch, they played in a high level.
And McTominay scored the goal, as he's been doing for Scotland. He's a player who always gives 100%.
It's a great player, great personality. So happy I have him in my squad. So give always energy, never giving up. So yeah, it's great.
And when you want to kill the game and get that second goal, it's handy to have Anthony Martial on the pitch.
Yeah, I think once again, players who are coming from the bench with us, having an impact, scoring goals, but also contribute in other departments of the team. But scoring goals, and we have many subs came on in this season so far who have an impact, score goals.
We talked about Bruno's position deeper in midfield before the match, but he was pulling the strings today, wasn't he?
Oh, I think he was brilliant, but I think he's already playing brilliant over many games in the deeper role. Not everyone is recognizing, but also even last week in Newcastle, he was playing very well. This week against Brentford, he was really well. And today, brilliant game. But I said he was definitely one of the best players, maybe the best player on the pitch. But I think we had more. We're in a quite high level.
Marcus? He's right about his squad. 21 goals Manchester United substitutes have contributed in all competitions over this season. But, a bit like Peter, he is worried about them not being ruthless and clinical enough today.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Everton who are fighting relegation, but if you're looking at where you want to be for Manchester United, if you play a better team, you have to be putting them away because those chances are few and far between. So they've dominated the game, but it shouldn't take 29 chances for two. And ultimately, I'm saying both goals should have been defended better from Everton, really. So the other one, you have 5 1v1s in the first half. You have to put them away. And as you keep going on, you're playing better teams, those chances are not going to occur, so you've got to be more ruthless.
You mentioned Bruno Fernandes in that deeper role today. What it has done in the last 2 games is allow Marcel Sabitzer to play further upfield. 4 consecutive games he started in the Premier League for the first time. He's impressed you?
I really like the look of him. I think when you have midfield players who not only do their job as midfield players, but they also appear in the box and they get chances. They're in the right position to get the chances. That was the first one we saw. That was just at the beginning of the first half. This isn't the greatest to finish, but at least he's at the end of one. And it's, when you've got midfield players supporting, I mean, you can find a pass as well. I don't know why Bruno isn't taking his time here. But I'm just really impressed with this player. His energy levels are good. He's tough. He's not the biggest player. Physically, he's not very big, but he's a tough player. He's a great addition. He's on loan from Bayern Munich. He's on loan, and he's one of those players. I was a little bit, why are we signing him? Why do we bring him in now? Now I'm hoping that we'll sign him and he stays at Manchester United, because I think he's got all the ingredients of being a Man United player. And we know, with Casemiro on his 2nd suspension now, that will be 7 games that he's missed. Christian Eriksen, the injuries that he's had, he's been out for a long time. This happens. This is football. You need quality players that can play and also obviously give the manager choices to mix it in and out and not play the same players every game. And I've been impressed by him. I think he's quite a good player.
And after that defeat against Newcastle, they had the 2 home games. They've won them both. They're into 3rd before Newcastle kick off shortly. And indeed Spurs at home to Brighton. With all these games and all these competitions, they've done their side of the bargain.
That's it. You want to do the early game, win it and get home and think it's over to you guys now. The pressure's off us, it's over to you. And I'd much rather be in Manchester United shoes, played the game, got the result, than people now that have got to play these 3 o'clock games, and every game there's something on them. But for them, it's a really good reaction from that Newcastle. Just also performance. Do you know what I mean? So going to Europa League now, the quarter-final on Thursday, and they're putting themselves in the best possible opportunity. And like I said at the start of the show, from where they were when we covered them when they lost to Brentford 4-0 away to where they are now, Manchester United fans, the manager and the players would have taken this with both hands if you'd have gone back to that time back then.
I've just on this early kickoff, it's a difficult time to play. I have to say, I didn't like it at all. It's too early. Never get.
You like
Not a morning guy.
You never really. And it's a weird thing to say because in my days we used to train at 10:30. So it really, I mean, it was even later than what you normally. But it's just game day is so different. But when you get it done, and I agree with you, when you get it done and you get the 3 points, it's the best time to win because you put the pressure on the guys that you're competing against. So, but when you haven't got it done, like Everton today, you know, and Everton now have to sit and wait and sit and watch all their opponents. They're on 27 points. They could go below into the relegation zone by the end of today. That's terrible. They needed to do something today. They needed to get something to put some kind of pressure on the guys at the bottom, and they haven't done that. No. So for Man United, it's been brilliant. For Everton, it's not.
Absolutely.
Performance against a very good side for starters. They've proved that with our own record. Too many mistakes from us, to be honest. They were a dominant force in the first half, getting done by straight balls, lots of long balls, which we didn't deal with very well, you know, by our standards. And so pretty simplistic, really, in what we could have done better. Still some really good last-ditch defending when we had made mistakes. So it wasn't like we're just letting the mistakes and not, you know, trying to make up for them. Jordan making a couple of good saves, Keno good blocks, Ben Godfrey made a couple of mistakes, made up for it with blocks, and Taki as well, and Seamus, you know. So the reality was not doing the basics well enough in the first half as a collective, and they did and should have been further in front, although ironically we had probably the chance of the game with Ellis Sims, which may, because you never know in these places, but may have changed the feel of what was going on at that stage because it was 0-0.
What's the problem with the balls over the top? Was it a high line? Was it unable to get pressure on the...
No, just not tuning in quick enough. You don't get your shoulders turned. You've got Rashford who, you know, I can see why they're using that as a weapon, just, you know, knocking it over the top, getting him running and stretching the pitch. They've got a lot more to it than that, by the way, but I'm just saying today they used it more than I've seen them recently. You know, so there's obviously, I imagine, part of what they were thinking. We just didn't get our shoulders turned quick enough on a couple of occasions. We dealt with it better second half, and we dealt with the game better second half. A couple of changes sort of the tactical side of things, and we quelled the game better second half. But first half, they rightly so were in front. You know, but on the other hand, we are showing more resilience, and we are finding ways to stay in games